What's up, guys? Neil Orfield here, taking a look at Stokastic's MLB DFS Lineup Generator for tonight's slate. While you're coming in, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. If you're on YouTube, if you are on Twitter, just like my tweet. And by the way, if you have not yet signed up for Lineup Generator, you can still get it for 50% off your first week using the link in the description of the video on YouTube or just the link in my tweet on Twitter. It's going to be just $4.48 for your first week, still just $8.95 after that. Fantastic deal for a tool that is only going to give you lineups that have been found to be profitable long-term in these stochastic sims. All right, I'm going to start by taking a look at some DraftKings lineups, and then we'll move on and look at some FanDuel lineups as well. Going to do all stack types, all lineup types, not going to lock anybody in. All right, first lineup we see here is a 5-0 stack. It's a 5-man Diamondback stack with no secondary stack. We got Ezekiel Duran as a one-off, David Hamilton as a one-off, and Yainer Diaz as a one-off with the 5-man Diamondback stack. Julio Urias is the pitcher along with Kyle Bradish. Let's take a look at how they look in the top pitchers to us. We've got Urias and Bradish as our pitchers. Number 2 and number 3 in terms of top 2 pitcher odds in the top pitchers tool, 21% chance of Kyle Bradish being a top 2 pitcher, 24% chance for Urias. So 2 of the top pitchers on the board. And then we had the 5-man Diamondbacks as our only stack here. Diamondbacks second on the board in terms of top stack odds, 12% chance of being the top stack at 11% ownership. Diamondbacks look quite good. So looks like a good lineup to start here. It is kind of middle of the pack in terms of chalkiness versus being a contrarian lineup. It is, of course, projecting pretty close to the top. Every lineup you're getting here probably going to be, top 10% or so on this line in terms of pretty close to the optimal lineup. They're all going to project quite well. But because I did all lineup types, we're going to see the ownership meter jump all over the place. We're going to get some chalky lineups, some contrarian lineups, everything in between. This one kind of in between here. All right, so I'm going to save this lineup. And then this one, very chalky, another 5-man Diamondback stack with 3 one-offs. So similar construction, but this one much chalkier than the last one. We've got Starling Marte as a one-off, along with Mookie Betts and Nate Lowe. And then Tanner Bybee and Kyle Bradish as the pitcher. So Tanner Bybee now. We had Kyle Bradish last time. Now we have Bybee, who is top of the board in terms of top 2 pitcher odds with a 30% chance. All right, I'm going to go through and just save 20 lineups and see what our exposures look like. And remember, you can check it out. This is going to jump all over the board. Some chalky, some contrarian. We should get a mix of lineups here. And we are getting that. All right, so through 20 lineups, we got 70% Jose Ramirez, 55% Tanner Bybee, 55% Andre Jimenez, 50% Stephen Kwan, Bo Naylor. We got a ton of. Are they related? Bo Naylor and Josh Naylor? Hadn't even thought about them being on the same team. No idea. A lot of Guardians here at the top in terms of our exposure. We just have 20 lineups here. We've got Jose Ramirez in 14 of our 20 lineups. That's a little bit more than I'd like. Of course, there's a fairly short slate here. What is this, a 6-game slate? So maybe I'm okay being a little bit more condensed, but I would probably want to spread out my ownership a little bit more than what I have here. So probably if I got these 20 lineups, I'd go back, get rid of some of my Guardian stacks, probably some that have Jose Ramirez in them, try to get that exposure down a little bit, maybe try to get below 50% or lower on all of my bat exposures here is probably the approach I would take. But again, we know every lineup here is going to be a plus EV one. That's just a matter of how much money do you want to be risking on the Guardians? Do you want to spread out your risk a little bit? I prefer to spread out my risk a little bit more than what we have here. So I'd probably get rid of a few of my Guardians lineups, try to, find some lineups that are not Guardian centric. All right, now I'm going to take a look at some FanDuel lineups as well. Again, I'm going to do all stack types, all lineup types, not locking anybody in. All right, so we got Julio Urias as our pitcher in the first lineup. Another 4-man Guardian stack. It's a 4-3 Guardians and Diamondbacks stack with Mookie Betts as a one-off. This one kind of on the chalkier end, but not the far end in terms of chalkiness. We do have a lot of very chalky bats in 25% Corbin Carroll, 27% on Jose Ramirez, 23% Jimenez. No real low-owned bats here. Nobody in the single digits here, but Ahmed Rosario at just 10% ownership. And then we do have Julio Urias as the pitcher. So looking on the top pitchers tool and top stacks tool for FanDuel. Julio Urias down at 4th in terms of top pitcher odds on FanDuel. 10% chance of being a top pitcher He's 8,700 though, cheaper than the three pitchers ahead of him on the tool. And then we had Guardians and D-backs as the stacks, that's DraftKings. Let's take a look on FanDuel. Second and third on the board in terms of top stack odds. Diamondbacks with a 12% chance of being the top stack. Guardians with an 11% chance of being the top stack. Both a little bit over-owned according to the top stacks tool, but not in an aggressive way. It looks like a fine lineup overall. Probably not my favorite just because of how chalky it is. Definitely on the far chalky end of the scale. But, as I said, we're nitpicking. Every one of these lineups has been run through thousands of sims. They've been found to be long-term profitable. I'm going to save that one. This one even chalkier. So we've got a 4-2-2 Guardians, Diamondbacks, and Rangers stack now. Tanner Bybee as the pitcher. Tanner Bybee, top of the board in terms of top pitcher odds on FanDuel. Again, we had, I think these are the three top teams: Texas, Arizona, Cleveland. Is that right? Yep, Texas, Cleveland, Arizona. So the three top teams all represented in this lineup. Again, a little bit chalkier. I'm going to go through and save, and hopefully we'll see some more contrarian lineups as okay, here's another one. We'll take a look at this one. Okay, so it is actually the same thing. We've got a 4-2-2 Guardians with Diamondbacks, but then we have the Red Sox in here instead of Texas, and we have lower owned parts. So we have Duvall at just 10% ownership for the Red Sox. I guess it was George Kirby that's really bringing down the ownership of this one. Just 9% ownership going to George Kirby. Second on the board in terms of top two pitcher odds. Tough matchup with Houston there. But second to the board, looks a little bit better than the last one in terms of not quite as chalky. All right, I'm just going to go through and save 20 lineups now. Look at our exposures. Again, just like DraftKings, 70% Jose Ramirez here, 65% Corbin Carroll in this one, and then a bunch of Guardians. Again, I would, like I said for the last one, I would probably try to, even it out a little bit, get rid of some of my Guardian stacks, flatten my exposure there, try to get to some stacks with other teams if these were the 20 I got to. But again, nitpicking, these are all going to be good lineups. All right, before I lose my voice, I'm going to call it a day on this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please do like my tweet, like the video on YouTube if you have not already done so. It really helps out a lot. Thanks a lot for watching.